Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Luqman Hakim bin Abu Bukhari, matric number 2020516383. Today, my group will present about comparison of Ikhtikar and Hilal. For subject Islamic Marketing, IMU 501 for lecturer Muhammad Hafiz bin Abdul Wahab. Okay, now we go to introduction. Muamalat is set of rules fixed related to worldly matters such as business or trading or commerce, transaction, lending and borrowing contracts. Muamalat also involve the rules regarding the social interactions between humans and humans such as marriage and inheritance like wakaf and fara'id and other human activity. The rules and practice of fiqh muamalat are derived from two primary sources such as the Holy Quran and Hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are other secondary sources of Islamic law which are collective opinion agreed among Sharia scholars. There are four schools of fiqh such as Hanbali, Maliki, Hanafi and Shafi'i. Analogy, personal reasoning by ulama, in other words ijtihad, and traditions, custom, as long as it is not in conflict with Sharia. Among the requirement of Sharia laws in practicing businesses transaction is no Ikhtikar, no hilah, no riba, and others. So now we go into the meaning of Ikhtikar. The meaning of Ikhtikar is among the transaction that harms many people is holding goods, the act of stockpiling with intent to corner the market and affect price has been done by a segment of traders since time immemorial. From the time of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this action is known as Ikhtikar. Ikhtikar is holding with barley dates, raising and oil and withdrawing them from the market to sell them for higher price. In other words, when the public is in dire need of them, it applies only when there is a dire need for. And argument of Ikhtikar is in Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah verse number 2. Meaning is have you one another albir and at-taqwa, virtue, righteousness and pity, but do not have one another in sin and transgression and fear Allah in severe in punishment. Surah Al-Ma'idah verse number 2. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the meaning is a merchant will be given a living and a monopoly will be cursed. Hadith narrated by Ibn Majah, chapter 768, verse number 978. Another hadith, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, meaning whoever holds, he has sinned. Hadith narrated by Muslim, chapter number 1605. So therefore, that's all from me, and I pass to Aminah.
My name is Siti Aminah binti Ahmad. Matric number 2020360647. Different opinion between ulama. An-Nawawi said, according to ulama, the lesson why hoarding good is provided is to not complicate to others people live. The ulama agree that someone who has staple food in large amount, when people are in time difficulty and in dire need of food, then the owner of excess food can be forced by authorities to sell it in order to reduce the difficulty of many people. Some of scholars narrow the ban of hoarding Ikhtikar. Imam Shafi'i and Imam Ahmad radiallahu anhu said that the ban on hoarding is only for food because it is simple. It is staple of the people. They are also scholars who extend the prohibition of hoarding for all kind of good because ikhtikar result in increase in the price of good, and this attitude is an unfair attitude. But there are those who are argue that only hoarding their own crop of self-produced good in obstacle. The criteria which hoarding is forbidden. Hoarding forbidden according to most fiqh scholar, it fulfills three criteria. Namely, at the first is the good that are hoarded more than their need and family need for a full year. We can only store item for less than a year, 1 year, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. Second is hoarding for sale, then at a time when price soar and the need of the people have been argued to sell so that the people are forced to buy them at high price. Third, the hoarded monopolies are the basic need to the people such as food, clothing, and others. The criteria which hoarding is forbidden. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam treated hoarded with the leprosy and bankruptcy. Leprosy in retaliation because this decide as subsistence of others without right, and bankruptcy in return for their greed to enrich themselves by harming and destroy the people. This was said by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his word, mean whoever pile food against the Muslim, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will override him with bankruptcy and leprosy. Hadith narrated by Ahmad bin Ibn Majah. In addition, monopolization and abuse of dominant position law providing monopolistic or obvious conduct are less clearly evident than anti-cartel law in pre-industrial societies. Although a few references exist, for example, there was pre-Islamic ban on monopolistic practice in 6th century Mecca Ikhtikar. In Imperial China, monopolistic practice were condemned as early in Tang Dynasty. The King Court has only a few non-taught provision in Rome. That's all from me, and I will pass to Muhammad Irfan.
My name is Muhammad Irfan bin Saidi. Matrix number 2020118721. Next is about sanctions for Ikhtikar perpetrator. In principle, Islam does not limit the freedom of entrepreneurs from making profit. Yet, if in the effort to procure profit harms many people through Ikhtikar, then the ulama agree that the authorities have the right to force the perpetrators of Ikhtikar to sell the goods that they have stockpiled at the price set by authorities to prevent injuring the public. If the perpetrator is unwilling to do it, then he or she may be held in custody in jail until willing. So as a conclusion, there should be no ambiguity in the price, object of sale, time, and place of delivery of the traded item, given that the Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade certain market practice such as ihtikar, gharar, and sale of something which one does not possess, and several others. Islam also prohibits riba in any forms of business transaction. In a sales transaction, although it is permissible to defer the payment or to defer the delivery of the commodity, the deferment of both payment and commodity delivery at the same time is not permissible. Next, meaning of hila. In life, we are often faced with a wide range of issues, including in the economy. One is about the law is hila. Hila is either a legal means used to avoid a prohibited or inconvenient action or an apparent illegal means to achieve a permissible end. The current products of Islamic banks closely resemble direct loans and mortgage offered by conventional banks. Such resemblance makes one wonder whether Islamic banks are simply discussing interest-bearing loans. Such discourses are known as Hilal in Islamic law. In the terminology of the fiqh proposal, this has a meaning that is not much different from its etymological meaning. Ibn Taymiyyah interpreted this verse with a clever way to get to the goal, good or bad. However, if often creates something to simplify what is illegal to be the lawful, therefore, it expressly states that the blame is null and can't be used as a way of obtaining the law. At least it puts 24 reasons why this happens. For more explanation is to intend to subdue an obligation or permit a prohibition by actions which are originally not meant or legislated for it. From such a definition, this law is transformed through the detailed meaning for a specific purpose that can't be seen with the naked eye unless accompanied by the form of intelligence and ingenuity. If the intent purpose is good, then the law of conduct then will be good. One the contrary, when it's bad, then it's a bad law. Some people view that when the law is meant to legalize something that is illegal, then it is clearly prohibited by religion. But otherwise, it is done with the intention not to justify something that is illegal, so it is justified in religion. That's all from me. I pass to Hilfi.